When Brian Norman Jr. stepped into the ring on Saturday, May 16th against Josh Wagner from Canada, it was the first fight that he's had under his new trainer, Ronnie Shields, and since he had lost last fall to Devin Haney. But this was a chance for Norman Jr. to right the wrongs of what's been going on in his career. And he made light work of the foul mouth and big mouth Wagner. Let's talk about Norman's fight and what could be next for him because he's interested in getting right back at it. One of the best things about Saturday's card from Norfolk, featuring in the main event Keyshawn Davis in a return bout against Nair Albright, was the fact that Brian Norman Jr. was returning to the ring for the first time since he had lost to Devin the Dream Haney back in November of 2025. The former WBO welterweight titleist was taking on Josh Wagner, who was from Canada, a gentleman that brought a record of 19 wins and 1 loss, but also brought a lot of braggartness to the fight, where he spoke about being bigger, and Brian talked about having faster hands and how he was going to really put Brian to the test. Well, it didn't take very long. We're talking about this fight going into the second round. After a light warm-up, Norman Jr. went to work on Wagner, and he was able to land the shots that put Wagner in jeopardy. I'm talking about pounding the man into submission in the corner, which I call the triangle, and that was it. Wagner went down twice. Norman Jr. was all over him. But the worst part of it was the referee who was officiating the bout. This referee found it within himself to just halfway count when Wagner hit the canvas. Eric Irizarry is the referee's name. He counted to 9, didn't count to 10, even though Wagner was still on the canvas and hadn't quite gotten up fully. It was like he was conceding the bout, but the referee didn't let that happen. He just made Wagner get up and finish fighting. Of course, it just took a few moments for Norman Jr. to jump right on him and finish him off, and that was the end of the fight. So, coming out of this, being victorious, Norman Jr. has stated, it was cool. But I mean, I only had 2 rounds. I was just trying to get him a little bit when I seen him a little shin big, but no, dude is going to quit on me, said Norman Jr. to the Zone after the fight, talking about the win over Wagner. But he says, I guess you can say that's me knocking the dust off, but let me get right back into it. He states that I learned a lot from him just being cool and calm. You know what I'm saying? It's just like been chilling the whole time, talking about how he's been training with Ronnie Shields, getting ready for this fight. You see, Norman was on his way to really carving a nice space out in the sport for himself as the WBO titleist before facing Devin Haney. The fact that Devin had a little bit more experience, not only in big fights, but overall in the fight game, he was able to use that experience and teach Norman Jr. a lesson. But I do believe that Norman Jr. is a quick study, and he will come back from this and possibly be even better than he was. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that certain fighters just have that certain something. And I do believe that Brian Norman Jr. has that something. He's going to take the loss to Haney and turn it around and turn it into something that will allow him to be the best that he can be going forward. And I suspect that even though he has made the changes in his camp, he's going to be able to do the things that are necessary and be right back at it. It may turn out that he may find himself in the ring again with Devin Haney before too long, but not just yet though. Let him fight a few fights, get his feet back under him, and come for the next title, whomever it may be. Overall, having Ronnie Shields as a head coach is one of the best moves he could have made, because Ronnie Shields is a definite top-notch trainer in the sport of boxing, especially if his charges listen to what he has to offer, because Ronnie Shields is just one of those that can get the job done himself when he's coaching and teaching. As long as his participants are able to receive, and I do believe that Norman Jr. is one of those sponges that will soak up the knowledge from the likes of Ronnie Shields. And he can do no wrong, because Shields is going to continuously steer him right. He has a great work ethic, which Shields appreciates, and that means that he's a guy that Shields can continue to teach going forward. I would like to see Brian Norman back in the ring before the end of the summer, maybe like in August, and then one more time before the end of the year, because he is that good and he needs to work. Just get back at it. You know what I'm saying? To get in there and show who you are in the sport of boxing. His dad is still around, but Shields is the man as far as the training and keeping him prepped for his matches. I really like the fact that Brian Norman Jr. took his career by the horns and decided to make the changes necessarily and not to go into a slump of certain circumstances that can detract and derail a fighter off of their path. This is good stuff. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, the third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about what Brian Norman did on Saturday, May 16th in Norfolk, and what would you like to see from him next? Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.